have their own coat of uh, mind, and have their own coat of intelligence, and have their own coat of working out in a particular way for a particular thing or a particular object. So that is our current status quo, that is our current position. And Krishna is asking us to come to this platform wherein we become free from all these egos, and become free from all those desire for gain for that egos, because and we intent on our mind on Krishna, and we surrender all our activity for Krishna. So at this point of time, we want to satisfy all our different egos. We want to satisfy all our different desires, what we have in our mind for ourselves and for those particular egos, what we have developed. And we are working very hard for them. We are working very hard for that. So, how do I come to that status wherein I just completely become free from all these egos and I work only for Krishna? And what is that status is to be like? That also we'll try to understand in today's discussion for next 15-20 minutes. So Srila Prabhupada gives one example. So he says that our heart is like a mirror. Our heart, our mind is like a mirror. And our soul is looking into that mirror. So let's say for an example, you are looking in a mirror, and that mirror is dirty. If that mirror is dirty, can you really see your picture? Can you really see your reflection into the mirror? No, hardly we can see. We cannot see ourselves clearly. We'll be seeing those dirts and we'll be seeing a distorted image. So how we are able to see that distorted image? Because of presence of those dirts in the surface of the mirror. Similarly, it is said that soul is seeing himself into the mirror of this mind, into the mirror of this subtle body. And we understand that this entire subtle body is being covered like a dust by all these different identification, by all these different egos. Okay, I am looking into this mirror, but how I am so convinced that this is me only? See, now what has happened is, let's say I look into the mirror which is dusty, I immediately say, oh, this is not me. And I know I have seen myself earlier in a different clear mirror, and I know what I looks like. And in this mirror, I'm clearly able to identify that this is not me. This is somebody else. But here in our case, what has happened is we are living in this body for a so long time, especially in the subtle body, in the mind. Our mind is in touch with us from so many millions of lifetimes, and all these different kinds of egos is being associated with us, associated with the mind from millions of lifetimes. So it is not a one lifetime process. It is not one lifetime work which has happened on our mind. It is a millions of trillions and so many millions of lifetimes work. We have formed these different egos and we are trying to satisfy them with a full conviction. So because our soul is constantly being looking into same mirror, and for so long all these different identities is been covered, is that mirror is covered with. So because of that long association with the mind, because of that long association with those egos, I am convinced that I am that. What distorted image soul is experiencing of himself, he has become convinced now that, oh, this is me. And it is only because of conscious energy of a soul that I can identify or I can feel something. How I am able to feel something? I am able to feel something because of consciousness. Otherwise, all these different mind slices, which we understood yesterday, that these mind slices are made up of a particular kind of ego associated, a particular kind of intelligence, a corresponding mind is functioning, experience, memory of that particular ego, how it is to be like to achieve your particular object. So all these things clubs together to make one packet, and this packet is dead actually, is not living packet. is only when soul's energy falls on that packet and soul identify because of long association that this is me, that becomes energized. By itself, that particular mind slice don't have its own energy. It can function only when it gets energy from the soul. It gets energy from the from spirit soul, and that energy is that it becomes me. By identification, that soul thinks that this is me, and all the energy from the soul flows into that packet, particular mind slice, particular identity slice. So only because the energy is flowing from the soul, because of soul identification, that ego, that is able to become activated and able to derive energy from me, from soul, and able to act as if it is reality, it is a live thing. So uh, for an example, we can understand, like somebody brainwashes me. If somebody brainwashes me, what happens? That I am convinced of somebody else's desire. Let's say I brainwash somebody and I say, oh, you should do like this, and he become fully convinced, yes, I should do like that. So it is my desire that I have implanted upon that person. It is my desire that I have sown the seed of that desire in other person's mind, and now that person is functioning the way I want. That is one way of brainwashing. We say brainwashing. You have been brainwashed by somebody. It is not your personal desire, it is somebody else's desire you are carrying. So, how does this brainwashing is different from haunting of a ghost? We know that sometimes people gets attacked by ghost. We would have heard ghost attack. No, it is a reality that ghost sometimes attacks, and we would have different experiences in different people's life. That once ghost attacks, what happens is that persons start behaving completely different. That whatever that ghost want, that person will be behaving, and that body will be used by the ghost to fulfill his own desire. And the person will be so genuinely feeling, oh, this is me only. There will be no control over that soul which is being attacked over his own body, because that person, that ghost has taken over that body. And that it happens that I act in my own body as if I am only acting, but is being used by that ghost. You see? Similarly, and once that ghost goes away from the body, once that ghost attack is over, then that person sees what I was doing, why I am here, what am I doing? I am not supposed to be doing like this. Suddenly he comes to his senses. The people around him will tell, oh, he was speaking like that, he was doing like this. I was not speaking, that person would say. It means I was being attacked and my body was being used by somebody else. Similarly, sometimes you will experience in your own life that in certain situation you would act in such a way that it would be very harmful to you and to others. But later on you will realize, oh, why did I act like this? I was not supposed to act like that, yeah. I was not supposed to do like this. Later point of time when you're reflecting, you're trying to understand what did I do, I should have not done that. Now in a cool mind situation, if the same situation would have arise, you would have not acted in that particular way, the way you have acted out in the past. Let's say for an instance, for an example, you are a person, you're a very honest person, and you're feeling very hungry, and you have not eaten from last 5 days, and there was opportunity for you to steal, and you just went to one shop, and there was nobody in that shop, and you just shoplift some items for yourself to eat, and you come back and you start eating it, and you become satisfied, and after 2 days you are thinking, now you have now you are have again you're working again, you are able to continue your life, and honestly you are able to live. Now that point of time you are thinking, oh, what did I do 2 days before? How could I go there and shoplift? How could I go there and do this? I was not supposed to do like this. You see, sometime in many situations you would come across wherein you would feel that I am not like this. I am an honest person. How could I shoplift? How could I steal something? I cannot do that. But how did this happen to me? Sometime you can reflect like this in your own lives. That point of time, the ego of a hungry person was very activated, and the ego of a honest person dissolved that point of time. And later, the ego of honest person becomes activated, and the ego of stolen, that hungry person, dies. Now the fight is happening between these two egos, honest person ego and a hungry person ego. You see how we come across in different situation wherein we can identify our own uh, situation wherein I was not supposed to act in that particular way. It means those different egos can attack my body and mind like a ghost attacks. It's not so negative like ghost attack, but you can feel, you can just experience what I'm trying to convey by this example of a ghost attack, that literally you become some different person altogether. And I become convinced that I am that only. That conviction is so strong that point of time when I'm acting out through that particular mind slice, to that particular identity. You become so convinced that there is no proof is required for you to even say that this is not you. You are fully convinced, you are pakka. And why this is happening? Because you have become very friendly with your mind. Whatever your mind says, you accept it. Because of very long association, I identify, and because of being very friendly, I accept whatever comes in my mind. I start doing it. I never say, oh, I should not do like that. I never rebel against my mind. Whatever comes to my mind like a flow, I just keep flowing. Or my mind is feeling like going to cinema, let me go to watch a movie. My mind is feeling like going to park, let me go and go to park. My mind is feeling like, I should go and, dance in a pub or in a bar, I just go there and start dancing. My mind is saying that let me go to nearby riverbank, I just go to near riverbank. You see, whatever my mind is saying, I'm simply accepting it. Because I don't resist my mind, I don't challenge my mind, I don't um, rebel, or I don't show any symptom of uh, showing that I don't want that. Now the point is, that is our current status, that we are in this current frame of existence. Then how do I come out of it? How do I break that identification itself? You see, the entire question is about that identification. Is about me feeling that I am that. That soul feels that I am this. There is a first level of ignorance, identification. That's why ego is a first element. What we have, what soul acquires, is ego, first element. So it is a identification which need to be broken, which need to be broke. And the moment you break that identification, you will be released. So sometimes you will experience in your own personal life that sometime in some moments you feel so light, so happy, so blissful. So just go flow with time, and time passes like anything. You are so happy, you are so blissful, and there is no problem happening around you in your mind. Because of some reason you're able to disidentify from all the minds. Sometimes people say, I want to take some time for myself. Sometimes you are working too much and you are with family, you're being surrounded by so much of activity happening around you, because your different egos is being activated at this different points of time, in house, in office, in relatives, with relatives. You have been so much merged into that. Then you say, I want some time for myself, and you go for some retreat, you go for some spiritual retreat, or you go for some pilgrimages. That point of time, what happens is, all your different identity just remains, just go in a dormant state. They are not activated anymore. And the only mind slice which becomes activated, that I'm servant of Krishna, or I'm spirit soul. And that moments of feeling, moment of realization, moment of really understanding who I am and being a servant of Krishna, can immerse you with full of bliss, can immerse you in an ocean of bliss. You see how actually it happens at some point of time or other, whether you realize why it is happening or don't realize, but it happens. So it is a breaking of those identification which you have to work upon. So now breaking of identification happens in two ways. So first way is that we have to build up our identity of being a servant of Krishna first. So Krishna is telling here that you become free from egoism and you surrender all your work onto me, because my identity of being a servant of Krishna should be very strong. Because when, let's say, fighting happen between two egos, which ego will win, which mind slice will win, who will be strong? And if I make my mind slice of being servant of Krishna very strong, which I am really is, so it is not a mind slice which you are making artificially, it is a mind slice which you will be forming that I am really is, my really nature is that. So some mind slice is being formed on a wrong belief system, and some mind slices are being formed in a real belief system. It is a reality, it's a truth. So belief may be truth or may be false. I believe something, it may be false, but I believe something, it may be truth also. So I believe on a truth which is mentioned in Bhagavad-gītā. I take all these principles from Bhagavad-gītā that I am servant of Krishna, I am a spirit soul. So as I keep making my mind slice of being a servant of Krishna more strong, then when fight happens between these two mind slices, my mind slice of being of any of these identities, of these worldly identities, and my mind slice of being servant of Krishna, if servant of Krishna mind slice is strong, it will defeat. And most of the time you can remain in the position of being servant of Krishna and doing everything for Krishna, feeling for Krishna, and using your intelligence for Krishna. That is one very strong practice we have to involve in ourselves. For that you have to do some practices. You have to chant, you have to read, you have to come to temple, you have to engage yourself into spiritual activities, devotional services, because this will help you enabling making your own strong mind slice of being servant of Krishna. At the same time, I have to also work upon on all my other mind slices which are formed, so that only my mind slice of being a servant of Krishna remains. And that happens when I identify those mind slices. So that is first part is of breaking all this identification, that we have to make our mind slice of being servant of Krishna very, very strong. That is the first most important thing which we have to do. And we have to culture it slowly over a period of time, and after some time you will feel yes, it is getting cultured. And second part is you have to keep observing all your different identities. Now suddenly you may not be able to catch yourself, able to catch that identification, able to catch that mind slice which is working through you. So it's very difficult. We are discussing, it's becoming very easy, but when it comes to real lifetime experiences, you become so emotionalized that it's not just possible for you to come out of it. So in the initial phase, it's not possible to suddenly break them. We have to start at least first observing them. That is very, very important. We have to start observing this phenomena happening inside us. This phenomena which we have been discussing from yesterday until now. So this phenomena is happening. So how it is happening in my own life? I have to start first observing that. So unless you observe, it's not gonna start. So everything starts with observation. Because if you want to study, you have to first observe, no? Observe what you are studying. You want to learn something, you have to observe. Because all the learnings start with observation. You get trained by observing. You have to start observing all your different these mind slices activation happening in yourself. So it may be possible that you may not be able to observe. At least start with reflection, start with retrospection, start with a phenomenon known as I look back in my own that particular situation, just rewind it in your own mind. Okay, this happened. Okay, it is because of that particular ego in me which made me spoke, which made me act like that. And when you are able to retrospect, reflect back, rewind the phenomena of the past, then when you are again in that situation, then you will be able to observe it more clearly. And once you observe it, and the moment you are able to observe it, that very moment you will see that identification start coming down, start reducing. That's why you see people say that when you are becoming angry, just don't act out that point of time. Just count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. They say these methods are there. So how this method works sometime, but how these methods are working out? Because that point of time you just divert your attention in these numbers, and it helps you getting disidentifying, giving your own energy. Now again, everything is rooting in same thing, that soul is giving energy to these identification. The moment you give soul's energy to counting, your attention to counting, automatically your soul's energy is not there is not there in that particular angry young man or angry woman or angry whatever. Then you will see that it start coming out, coming down slowly, 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 slowly. That is another beautiful concept, that we have to first observe, then divert that attention. So first stage is zero stages. From now onwards, we can at least start reflecting back in our life. We start retrospecting, and then we should start observing same phenomena happening in the real time. And slowly, slowly start diverting your mind to Krishna conscious mind slice. Krishna, that mind slice of being a devotee of Krishna. Then as soon as you have taken energy from that particular mind slice and giving it to mind slice of being a servant of Krishna, then automatically that identity is no more activated, is dead now. You see, is all energy game. As soon as you take out energy from that particular mind slice and give it to the mind slice of being a servant of Krishna, that very moment everything breaks down, and you'll be see what a miracle. Actually, it is very simple if we can practice it so simply. But since we have been into the conception of so many prejudices, perception, and all this kind of thing, our mind is full of these slices. Our mind is full of these. Our different mind slices are very, very strong. Some part of me becomes very strong, that become very difficult to resist it. So don't resist. You cannot do that. Just start observing all these the three steps what I told, what we have discussed today, and you will see that all your bad habits or whatever you want to change in your life will be able to smoothly able to sail through it. It may be any kind of relationship also. It may be any kind of toxic relationship you may be experiencing in your life, because you know you are. Let's say I am a mother, and I have a daughter, I have a son, and I have a very toxic relationship with my son. He doesn't listen to me, he does do everything on his own, he don't respect me, this and that. So I am becoming very hurtful in all of his behavior, because my mind slice of being a mother is very activated, or being a father is very activated. So I have to divert my energy from being a father or mother to being servant of Krishna. As soon as that energy get diverted from that particular slice, then that identity of being a mother is not activated, and you will not feel any pain also. So this you can apply to any bad habit, any good habit, any situation you want to change in your life, any relationship you want to change, in any of your aspect, in 360-degree aspect of your life. You can apply this principle, and this principle works 100%, because that is a fact which is Krishna is talking in Bhagavad-gītā. It becomes very smooth, and once I become slowly start getting relieved from all this identification, you will be always in a meditative stage. You will always be in a state wherein you're full of bliss, full of ananda, full of you're just immersed in your own happiness. You don't require any validation from society, you don't require anybody from anybody else. You become self-sufficient. So that is a highest stage which is being discussed in the Bhagavad-gītā also, that we have to start seeing ourselves with pure mind. And when that point of time that existence of ours is so blissful that we actually become liberated, that is known as liberated stage. And that point of time, you don't want any person in your life, you don't want any situation, you don't want any object. Doesn't mean you discontinue to live with them, you still are with them, but internally you become liberated. Again, you should not misunderstand. I mean to say you should go to Himalayas. No. Wherever you are, even you are in the busy streets of New York City, you may be surrounded by so many people and so many objects and so many buildings around you. But in your own mind, in your own heart, you'll be free from all of them. You'll be liberated. You'll be always in a state wherein you feel so lighted and so nice. And whomever comes in touch with you can presence, can feel that vibration, can feel that peace, deep peace within your heart. And you'll be able to help other with that particular energy field of yours also. So in that sense, you do good to yourself and you also do good